Have you ever found yourself trapped in a relationship with someone who only seems to care about themselves? Someone who drains your energy, manipulates your emotions, and leaves you questioning your own worth? We've all encountered them. The narcissists. They charm, they deceive, and they leave destruction in their wake. Think of the legendary Greek myth of Narcissus, so obsessed with his own reflection that he wasted away. Or modern-day figures like certain celebrities or politicians who thrive on adoration while exploiting those around them. It's a dynamic so toxic it feels almost intentional. But what if it is? What if there's a hidden purpose behind why you were drawn into a narcissist's life? Today we're diving into one of history's most profound philosophers, Arthur Schopenhauer, and his unsettling insights into why suffering at the hands of a narcissist might be the very thing that awakens you. But this isn't just ancient philosophy. It's a psychological reality that shapes relationships today. From romantic partners to family members, even bosses or friends, the uncomfortable truth is that narcissists don't enter your life by accident. They serve a purpose, one so shocking it might change how you see every painful interaction you've ever had. And understanding this paradox could be the key to breaking free, reclaiming your power, and even discovering a deeper truth about yourself. Schopenhauer warned that suffering is not meaningless. It's a teacher. He believed that pain forces us to confront illusions, to question our choices, and ultimately to grow. So what if the narcissist in your life was never meant to be your destroyer, but your mirror? What if their cruelty, their manipulation, their relentless ego was designed to show you something you've refused to see about yourself? This isn't about blaming the victim. It's about recognizing that the universe has a way of placing exactly what we need in our path, even if it comes in the form of a narcissist. Think about it. Narcissists are masters at exposing weaknesses. They target your insecurities, exploit your kindness, and reflect back the parts of yourself you've neglected or denied. If you're a people pleaser, they'll take advantage of your generosity. If you struggle with self-worth, they'll magnify that doubt. If you fear abandonment, they'll weaponize it. But here's the twist. Their behavior isn't random. It's a distorted reflection of your own unresolved wounds. Schopenhauer argued that suffering is the friction necessary for growth, the sandpaper that smooths the rough edges of the soul. So let's ask the uncomfortable question. Why were you the one chosen for this role? Why did the narcissist pick you? The answer lies not in their malice, but in your unconscious patterns. Narcissists are drawn to those who tolerate them, those who haven't yet learned to set boundaries, who confuse love with sacrifice, or who believe they must earn affection through suffering. In other words, they find the people who haven't yet fully valued themselves. And that's where Schopenhauer's warning becomes vital. He taught that true freedom comes from self-awareness, from seeing the patterns we're trapped in and choosing to break them. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about realizing that the narcissist didn't come into your life to destroy you. They came to show you where you were already broken. Their presence is a wake-up call, a brutal but necessary lesson in self-respect. The more you tolerate their behavior, the louder the universe screams at you to change. The more you sacrifice for their approval, the clearer it becomes that you've been abandoning yourself. And the more you try to fix them, the more you ignore the one person who actually needs your attention, you. Schopenhauer believed that suffering is the great equalizer. It strips away illusions and forces us to confront reality. And the reality is this: narcissists don't change, but you can. The moment you stop seeing them as your tormentor and start seeing them as your teacher, everything shifts. Their manipulation becomes a lesson in discernment. Their emotional games become a crash course in boundaries. Their indifference becomes proof that you were never the problem. And that's the shocking truth. The narcissist was never the villain of your story. They were the catalyst. Now let's go deeper, because this isn't just about escaping a toxic relationship. It's about understanding the hidden contract you signed with the narcissist, one you didn't even realize existed. Narcissists offer something addictive: the illusion of love, the promise of validation, the fleeting high of their approval. But like any addiction, the payoff is temporary, and the cost is your soul. Schopenhauer warned that chasing external validation is a fool's errand. It's like drinking salt water to quench your thirst. The more you get, the more you need, and the emptier you feel. So why did you fall for it? Because somewhere along the way, you were taught that love is earned through suffering, that you must prove your worth, that you are only as valuable as the narcissist makes you feel. And that's the trap. The narcissist didn't create those beliefs. They simply exposed them. They held up a mirror to the wounds you've carried for years, the ones you've been too afraid to face. And that's why you were put in their life. Not to be broken, but to be awakened. Schopenhauer wrote that the greatest tragedy isn't suffering, it's suffering without meaning. So what if your pain had a purpose? What if every tear, every betrayal, every moment of self-doubt was leading you to a single realization? That you were never meant to beg for love? That you were never meant to shrink for someone else's ego? That you were never meant to lose yourself in the reflection of a narcissist? The truth will shock you because it's not about them. It never was. It's about you. And the moment you see that, the spell is broken. Now, let's talk about how to break free. Because awareness is only the first step. The real work begins when you decide to reclaim what the narcissist took from you, not your dignity, because that was always yours to lose, but your attention. Every minute you spend analyzing their behavior, every hour you waste trying to understand their motives, is another minute you're giving them power. Schopenhauer's solution was radical acceptance, to stop resisting reality and instead see it clearly. The narcissist will never change, but you don't need them to. The key is to redirect your focus inward, to ask not why they treated you this way, but why you allowed it. What were you seeking from them? Validation, security, love. And here's the hardest question of all. Why didn't you believe you could give those things to yourself? This is where the real healing begins. Because the narcissist's greatest trick wasn't making you dependent on them. It was making you forget that you were never dependent to begin with. Schopenhauer warned that the world is full of illusion, that we chase shadows, mistaking them for substance. The narcissist is the ultimate shadow, a hollow reflection of everything you thought you wanted. But the truth is, you were never starving for their love. You were starving for your own, and that's why you were put in their life. To realize that the love you've been begging for was inside you all along. Now, let's talk about what comes next, because breaking free from a narcissist isn't just about leaving, it's about rebuilding. It's about rewiring your mind so you never fall into the same trap again. Schopenhauer believed that true wisdom comes from suffering transformed into insight. So what insights have you gained? That love shouldn't hurt, that boundaries aren't cruel, they're necessary, that you are enough exactly as you are. This is the final stage of the journey, not just surviving the narcissist, but transcending them. Because the greatest revenge isn't hatred, it's indifference. It's living so fully, so authentically, that their hold on you vanishes. It's realizing that they were never the main character of your story. They were just a lesson, a painful, brutal, but necessary lesson. And now that you've learned it, you're free. Schopenhauer's warning was clear. Life is suffering, but suffering can be the path to enlightenment. So the next time you ask, why was I put into a narcissist's life? Remember, the answer isn't about them, it's about you. And the truth will shock you because it's not a tragedy, it's an awakening. So where does this leave us? After all the pain, the confusion, the endless questioning, what is the final truth? Schopenhauer's philosophy leads us to one inevitable conclusion. The narcissist was never the point. They were merely the instrument. The universe, in its brutal wisdom, placed them in your path not to destroy you, but to reveal you. Think of it like this. A sculptor doesn't hate the block of marble. The chisel's strikes aren't punishment. They're necessary to uncover what was always hidden inside. The narcissist was your chisel. Every lie they told exposed your own gullibility, your desperate hope that love could be earned. Every betrayal revealed your own tolerance for disrespect. Every moment they made you feel small, showed you where you had already abandoned yourself, and now here you stand, raw, exposed, but finally real. This is the awakening, the realization that none of this was ever about them. It was about you, your blind spots, your unhealed wounds, the parts of yourself you outsourced to someone else's approval. Schopenhauer called this the will's self-recognition, the moment the soul finally sees its own reflection in the mirror of suffering. And that is the shocking truth. You weren't a victim, you were a student. Now the final question remains, what will you do with this knowledge?